Imagine trying to get a bucket on the final possession of a game, and opposing you have Dyson Daniels at point guard, Nickiel Alexander-Walker at shooting guard, Zachary Riza-Shea at the 3, at the 4 is Jalen Johnson, and at the 5 is Kristaps Porzingis. That's gonna be tough, and that's going to be a reality for team facing the Atlanta Hawks this year. And this is an Atlanta Hawks team that has had one of the best off seasons in the league. They masterfully executed free agency, the draft, and also bring in Porzingis for essentially free. They gave up George Niang and a pick, and they were still able to get their guy in Asa Newell at 23. Now, even though we didn't mention him, that doesn't mean we forgot about Trae Young. He is everything for this Hawks offense. He is the engine, the maestro, the facilitator. Everything that they do offensively flows through Trae Young, and it reflects on the stat sheet where he averages 24.2 points per game and 11.6 assists per game. 3 rebounds, leads the league in assists, shot 41% from the field and 34% from 3 last year on 8.5 attempts. And while that efficiency is not very good, he is kind of a shot chucker at times, and some Hawks fans are not the biggest fan of Trae Young. I mean, he's only 6'1" with a 6'3" wingspan. Maybe you can't win with a 6'1" guard as your best player in the league anymore. Certainly the Hawks and the Knicks are two teams trying to prove that narrative wrong, but they've got plenty of defense and length and athleticism surrounding Trae Young in this starting lineup now, with Dyson Daniels, who is 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan and is pretty much the premier wing defender in the league. Zachary Riza-Shea at 6'9" with a 6'10" wingspan, and Jalen Johnson at 6'9" with a 6'11" wingspan are both great wing defenders as well. And then down low, you have Porzingis in the paint, anchoring everything. And as for Trae, yes, the efficiency was down a little bit, but we have seen him be elite, one of the best shot makers in the league. So heading into his age 27 season, I think we see a little bit of an uptick. And oh, by the way, they can throw Nickiel Alexander-Walker in at the end of games and absolutely suffocate you on defense. You don't have to worry about Trae playing at the end of games anymore. When you need a stop, you can put him in on offense. And then the other young star that they have here in Atlanta only played 36 games last year, and that's Jalen Johnson before he got sidelined with injury. But I think he might be the guy. Now, yes, Trae is fantastic and everything, but maybe they asked Trae to take a little bit of a step back this year. I mean, he's averaging 19 and 10 with 5 assists, 1.6 steals, and a block off 50% shooting from the field. He's just not the best three-point shooter in the world, but he did shoot 35% from 3 just a year ago, and maybe since he only played in 36 games, it was taking a little bit to get warmed up. He also has some vision. It's not overly common for a guy that is 6'9" to pass the ball like this. I mean, this is a fantastic pass. Dyson Daniels cuts back door, and he finds him on a strike from the mid-post area, and Daniels goes up and finishes it home. Now, he can also drive extremely well. That's his bread and butter, is getting downhill. Shot making in the mid-range is decent, and he's fantastic in transition. Long-term, he's fantastic. The backcourt in Atlanta with Trae and Dyson Daniels, and even their 24 or under core, where Jalen Johnson will be 24, Dyson's going to be 22, and then Riza-Shea is only going to be 20. But Dyson Daniels, like I said, him alongside of Trae Young, it's literally the perfect backcourt pairing. He's 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan, and like I said, the Great Barrier Thief is the premier wing defender in basketball right now. I mean, watch him blow up this dribble handoff, intercept it, and get going the other way before Brandon Ingram can even turn around, and nobody even contests this two-handed dunk. He averaged 14.1 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 3 steals in 34 minutes a game last year, shot 49% from the field and 34% from 3 on 3.1 attempts per game. He goes out there and he can neutralize the other team's best perimeter player as good as anybody else in this league. And like I said, he's 22 years old. Give me that Josh Giddey, Australian on Australian crime, and he's going the other way to lay it in. And then right here, running in transition, the lob from Jalen Johnson, a little bit more vision from him. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dyson Daniels. And then I also really like Zachary Riza-Shea. I think this turned out to be a really good first overall pick. I think in the long run, maybe he's never going to be an All-NBA type guy, but he's going to be a really, really good piece on a contending team. Averaged 12.6 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, and 1.2 assists in just 26 minutes a game this year. Shot 46% from the field and 36% from 3, and really stepped it up towards the end of the year. He started off, of course, as most rookies do, not shooting it the most efficiently, but he had some bright spots throughout the year. And at 6'9" with a 6'10" wingspan, a guy that can come in and change the course of a game with his three-point shooting, as well as having solid enough defense, Yeah, I mean, that's a guy you're definitely going to have on a winning team. That's what every NBA GM wants, like 5 of. Versus Brooklyn, when he had 38, 4, 2, and 2 on 15 of 20 shooting from the field and 6 of 11 from 3. That's a really good representation of what he can do with the ball in his hands, right? Yes, Trey's still out there. Yes, they still got the other options out there. But when you get him a lot of attempts, he can automatically take over a game. And when he is hot, he is on fire. Now, taking a look at the additions for the Hawks, because that was really the whole point of this video. Of course, they bring in Kristaps Porzingis, the center for the Boston Celtics for the last couple of years, is now in Atlanta on a 1-year, $30 million contract, averaging about 19.5 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.5 blocks in 29 minutes a game, shooting 48% from the field and 41% from 3 on 6 attempts a game. This is a guy that's going to come in and, when healthy, he's one of those guys that, yes, he gets hurt a lot, but when he's healthy, can change the course of a game. Remember, a 2023 NBA champ, didn't play much in the playoffs this year because of some mysterious illness, but he's a rim protector at 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan, but he has a unique skill set where he can step out beyond the arc. He's a walking mismatch. If you put a big on him, he's going to blow by him and get to the rim. If you put a guard on him, he's just going to shoot over him like we just saw right here, blowing past Zubats on the way to the rim. And yeah, Porzingis is going to be a big-time piece here in Atlanta if they're looking to make a run. And then you got Nickiel Alexander-Walker as well, coming over on a 4-year, $62 million contract from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you might be thinking, that's a lot of money for a guy that averaged 9.4 points a game, 3.2 rebounds, and 2.7 assists in 25 minutes. Well, they're counting on his production to have an uptick next year. Shot 44% from the field and 38% from 3 last season. So if the efficiency stays the same and he adds 3 or 4 points a game, another rebound, another assist, he could be looking really solid, and that could be looking like pennies on the dollar on that contract. Now, as for the Western Conference Finals, he had 12.2 points a game, 2.6 rebounds and assists, and 1.2 steals while shooting 41% from the field. And at 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan, you'll take that all day long. Played his way into some money during the Western Conference Finals, and it seemed like the Hawks signed really everybody valuable this year. It wasn't a very deep free agency class, but they got Nickiel Alexander-Walker, they got Kannard, they traded for Kristaps Porzingis. 3 fantastic moves. Kannard's going to come in averaging about 10 points a game, 3.3 assists, and 2.8 rebounds in 22 minutes a game last year for the Grizzlies, shooting 48% from the field and 43% from 3 on 4.3 attempts a game. The vision right there. He is obviously a spacer, a 3-and-D guy, although he's not the best defender in the world. But, I mean, he led the league in 3-point percentage 2 years ago, shot 43% last year. And for guys like Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, and even Trae Young, who like to slash and get into the paint, he's a great guy to have on the perimeter, just waiting to catch and shoot and knock down a 3-ball. And then they got Asa Newell in the draft. I mean, I wasn't the highest on Asa Newell, but I think this is about the area that you should pick him. They probably got him at a pretty good discount because I thought he was going to be a top 20 pick. They get him at 23. He's 6'10" with a 7-foot wingspan, can do a little bit of everything, put the ball on the floor, can shoot the 3-ball a bit. He's going to be pretty solid. And the best part of this is that they got New Orleans' unprotected first-round pick next year. This is a team that was picking 7th in the draft this year and had the best odds of the number 1 overall pick. And they got their unprotected first next year, as well as Asa Newell, who averaged 15.4 points a game, 7 rebounds, a steal, a block, and an assist on 54% shooting from the field, 29% from 3 on an attempt per game. I mean, that's a great deal all the way around. There's really nothing you can say negatively about that deal, and Newell is a member of the Hawks. And they could be making a run at the play-in this year. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. If you want to see another Hawks video, hit that like button. I'll make another one if we get 300 likes on today's video. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.